So I just turned on the call recording, so now we're recording the call for future use, and then we can archive this. So
thank you so very much, Lindsay. Lindsay, would you like to start this morning then, opening us up with your, please?
Sure. So I'm going to provide some updates about what's going on with Women Veterans Division, and then we'll turn the call over to Angela Yamamoto, who works in our Vet Services Division. She's the manager over that division under our Deputy Keith Boylan. So to begin with, some announcements about the 2014 and 2015 conferences. We are planning to, just as of this week, we decided we are going to do a 2014 Women Veterans Conference. The conference will take place in late August here in Sacramento. The plan is to put that conference on over a few days and then offer a conference for all veterans, male, female, in spring of 2015, also here. So you will see a save the date come out for the women's conference, and then months down the road, you'll see a save the date come out for the all veterans conference in spring 2015 as well. So you should see the save the date for the women's conference come out shortly in the next week or two. We want to make sure we're still offering a fantastic conference for our women veterans, but the plan is to begin to offer an all veterans conference maybe every other year or every year if we can, so that all veterans are able to be included in the information that we provide for from the department and then throughout the state. So the next update I have is that we are coming out with our outreach toolkit for organizations to better outreach and serve women veterans. So that toolkit's almost done. We plan to have it completed this week, and then it will be in PDF form. Once we actually print the toolkit, which will take a couple weeks, we will also be able to send out toolkit information along with resource books, along with women veterans outreach pamphlets to anyone. So if your organization would like to get a mailed package of all of that information, we should be able to do that in March sometime. We'll be able to actually mail that out to you. But I would ask that if you'd like that information, just try and request it via email to me so that I can start making the list of everyone that wants that information, and then we can make sure to get that out to you. So this outreach toolkit will include things like best practices of organizations when outreaching to women veterans. It'll include fact sheets about women veterans. It'll include areas of suggestions for outreaching to them and how we would ask that you serve them. And then it also includes information about our women's roster so that you can post that to your websites and that you can disseminate our pamphlet to make sure that we're connecting women to the division. And then obviously we go ahead and connect women statewide with that information once we receive their contact information. We'll also be putting out our next newsletter at the end of this month. So far I think we've put out 6 newsletters, and we do these every other month at the end of each month, at the end of that month. So you'll see a February newsletter come out at the end of February, and that'll have information about upcoming events. It'll have information about some updates from the department and the division, and then we'll probably pick a topic to cover for that specific month. And we'll also be putting out a save the date very shortly. We are planning to have a March reception in celebration of Women's Military History Week. Women's Military History Week is the 3rd week of March, and during that week, the governor to issue a proclamation declaring it every year as the 3rd week of March, which for that request this year. And we are willing to request as many proclamations as that office can give us. So if you would like a proclamation for an event that's upcoming in that 3rd week of March or in April, then we'll be happy to provide that. Just be sure to email me about that. We probably won't get the proclamations until about the 2nd week of March, so just keep that in mind. And so our reception here in Sacramento will be at the State Library on March 19th from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. And all are welcome to attend. So we'll put out that save the date this week, and then that'll give people an opportunity to register for the event itself. There's no charge for that event. And then our 2013 California Research Bureau Women Veterans Survey has closed as of late December, and we're currently preliminary findings and analysis for that. So we'll have some short subject papers out probably sometime this month, and then you can expect a full report out in late spring about our findings for that survey. And then can you make sure to mute your phones, please, so that we don't have any relay or outside noise? Thank you. And then finally, for our MST initiative that we launched last year, we have 3 goals with this initiative, which are to increase the MST claims that are awarded by the Department of Veterans Affairs, to look at policy changes that we can make in California to sexual assault from the military, and to provide cultural competency training to service providers. So where we are with that is that we are currently developing and planning to train our county veteran service officers for some cultural competency training around victims of sexual assault. More information from the Department of Veterans Affairs about the MST claims themselves. We are also working with some legislators who have some proposed legislative ideas that they're going to introduce this year that may change some of the prosecution or reporting or et cetera in California for victims of sexual assault. So we'll see if those get any traction, or if they do, or if they are able to introduce those. And then we're also making sure that we at the department can do what we can to look at those claims that have our power of attorney that are submitted for MST claims, and how we can better work with those to ensure that people are actually have a higher percentage or probability of getting those claims awarded to them. So those are the updates I have. At this time, does anybody have questions for me before we go into information from Vet Services?
Lindsay, what I think that people would like to have, would you please give email again, because we're still getting beeps, and every single time there is someone coming on the phone call or leaving the phone call, it gets 5 seconds disrupted on the phone call. So a lot of people did not get your email.
Sure. So the email again is Lindsay, that's LINDSEY .sin, S-I-N, at calvet.ca.gov. And then if you're on the Join Me chat, if you have questions, you're welcome to ask the question via chat too.
And I am sending everyone that has requested the Join Me information. If you have my email and want to be on the Join Me, let me know right now. I am on the computer.
Hi, Lindsay. This is Alto VA. I had a question.
Sure.
Okay, my question is, and I might have asked this a time before, is it possible that we can get an agenda and maybe minutes in addition to the recording?
Sure. We can start providing that information.
Okay, and the other part is, you mentioned a survey regarding women veterans and that you hope to have the results out soon.
Yes, that's correct.
Is it, and I might have asked this question before, so I apologize for the duplication, but is that broken down also by demographics in regards to race? I'm particularly interested in American Indian, Alaska Native, tribal veteran women and their responses.
Sure. Yes, we did ask demographic information this survey go-around. Unfortunately, we only had about 1,000 respondents, so our sample sizes are very small at this point. So we hope to provide and pull some preliminary analysis out of that. Draw conclusions based on ethnic demographics. We're definitely going to do it, but we may have received such a small number of respondents that it may not be as valid information as we like. But
and the nature of your survey asks questions, I'm assuming, about also VA healthcare and their access to it, or any issues regarding that?
We did. So we basically broke down each of the major facilities in California and asked about individuals' experiences and access to health care at those facilities.
Okay, excellent. I'll probably shoot you an email on the side regarding this work group that I'm on and the other co-chair that's with me on the IHS side, because we'd be very interested in those results. So thank you.
Okay, wonderful. Does anyone else have any questions about the survey, anything I mentioned about a conference, our reception, our MST initiative, etc.? Okay, so with that, I'd like to introduce Angela Yamamoto. Angela has been working with the department for a few years now and comes to the Division of Veteran Services with a lot of talent. The Veteran Services Division covers many different programs that Calvet offers to veterans at the state level, and so what she can do today is provide you some updates about activities in that division, as well as answer some questions that you all may have either regarding those activities or perhaps about benefits. So, Angela, if you'd like to take over the call at this point, then we're happy to have you.
Okay, thank you, Lindsay. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for having me. Like Lindsay was saying, I'll give kind of a brief overview of the different parts of Veteran Services Division here at Calvet. We actually cover a lot of ground. Everything from cemeteries. We currently run 2 state cemeteries. We have one that's received funding for a preliminary plan phase, so we're going to have 3. We also oversee, or part of our unit includes, the state approving agency for veteran education benefits. And then the rest of us is kind of what you're more familiar with. I received a request from Mary Ellen to share our strategic plan, and I think that kind of is a good umbrella and place to start with the rest of what we're doing. And so our strategic plan that Keith developed early last year or so really encompasses contacting, connecting, and continuously communicating with veterans. Those are our 3 main objectives. So in the contact area, and heads up to Bobby and Linda, I might try to get some of your feedback on this area, but that's where our links come into play. They're the local interagency network coordinators throughout the state. There's 8 of them, so imagine the state of California divided into 8 sections or regions, and we have 1 link per region. And their job is to go out into the community, create a community footprint, so to say, find resources, find veterans, and connect the veterans with the resources in those regions. Bobby and Linda, do you have some more that you'd want to include in that? I know you guys do a lot with collaboratives and other things too. Okay. Either way, they're really, the links are our main source for resource for that first step of initially finding and contacting veterans. The next step would be for, after we're able to contact them, find them, make sure that they're connected with the benefits and services that they've earned, that they're entitled to. That could mean referrals to any of those resources in the communities, including the CVSOs, who we have a very strong relationship with on many different levels. But our CVSO program, we have a county subvention program. We also provide some reimbursement through the Department of Health Care Services for Medicare cost avoidance. And we also are helping to manage a license plate program where some of the revenue from the veterans' specialized license plate that's for sale, we distribute that all out to counties. And this year we received an extra $3 million for the county subvention program. So we've been managing that, making sure that the accomplishments from all of the funding that go to the counties are reported to the legislature and the bodies that need to know about it. We also provide training to the CVSOs, so they're veteran service representatives who file claims on behalf of veterans, which with our power of attorney number about 50% in the state, we provide training for their claims reps so that the claims that are going into the VA regional offices are high quality. We're maximizing their dollars. We're making sure it's fully developed so that they get into the system and they are rated properly instead of getting stuck in the backlog, things like that. We're developing a new training program right now. We have not implemented it. We're looking at maybe May, June to formalize this training process. And it's going to be, prior, the accreditation and training process was really up to the CVSO to train the VSR and make sure that they feel that they have enough training to become accredited and then take the exam. We're going to be formalizing that process into a 6-month program where they're going to come for initial training with our training analyst and then our district office managers, and then go back to their office for 6 months of on the job, and then come back and we'll do a refresher and then take the exam. So we're hoping to just improve the quality of claims that are submitted throughout the state. On that note, our district offices, so we have 3 district offices throughout the state. They're co-located at the regional offices of the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs in San Diego, Los Angeles, and Oakland. And historically, the district offices for Calvet have represented veterans and their families in appeals and that process. They've taken a much larger role this year. We also received funding and positions for the district offices to actually help the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs with the claims backlog. So we have 2 teams at each of the district offices. We have one team that's looking at the claims in the backlog and reviewing them, getting them ready to rate so that the backlog can be cleared. So we have a relationship, we have an MOU established with the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs regional offices, and we have a system in place where our teams at the district offices review it, make it ready to rate, pass it off to a specific area within the regional office to rate. So we're trying to speed up and clear the backlog that way. The second team at the district offices is kind of quality control. So there's a new, semi-new program called the Fully Developed Claims process, and we want to make sure that everything that's coming in can be put in that process, because the claims are, I don't want to say expedited, but they are rated faster, and in order to be qualified for that process, it needs to have all the documentation, all the boxes checked, all the signatures. It needs to be completely done, or it gets kicked out of that process. So that second team is ensuring that the incoming claims and the new ones that qualify for this fully developed claims process are actually fully developed. So that's how throughout the state, at all 3 offices, we're helping to try to reduce the backlog and increase the quality of claims again, in order to get veterans and their families their USDVA benefits quicker. Here at headquarters, we have that are going on all concurrently. Part of what we do is a MOU that we have with Department of General Services regarding the Disabled Veteran Business Enterprise Program. And so DGS runs the certification, and we here in the Veteran Services Division run the outreach part of it. For the most part, we take a large role in the outreach part of it. So we have 2 positions here that go to events. They work with advocates at state agencies. They work directly with businesses to either become certified or learn how to get state contracts, things like that. One thing we're looking into in that program this year is a conference of our own with DGS. So it'd be a DGS and Calvet effort to hold a conference with DVBEs together with advocates, and they're kind of taking best practices out of all the events that they've gone to and put it into an event that DGS and we can call our own, which is pretty exciting. We also have a Prop 63 mental health grant program for the counties, and so we work with the Department of Healthcare Services to distribute funding to counties who apply. So we have a RFA process, and counties can send their proposals to us on how they're going to improve mental health services in their county. And we are selective. We award 10 a year to, starting this year and moving forward, we've awarded 10 counties with funding to supplement what they're doing, because a lot of the counties are, providing a lot of great services to their veterans and families, but with this extra money, maybe they're able to either go out to prisons or work on reentry a little bit more. They're able to service a specific minority group. They're able to expand outreach services to other events, things like that. And we have a reporting process that they have to, on a quarterly basis, they let us know what they're doing, what they're accomplishing, and we're hoping to continue to improve that program over the next year or so. Also upcoming, we are working department-wide on a new website. We have kind of penciled in March, I think, as the go live, and we're kind of finishing it up right now. But what the new website will enable everyone to do is to optionally create a profile. And when you create a profile and answer the questions in the profile or fill out the information in the profile, the website is able to recommend benefit services resources that are tailored to what is in your profile. So more specific to the veteran or person who's family member who's filling out the profile. So it's pretty exciting. It's definitely different than our old website, and we're hoping that the new format of the website all over, including that profile, will enable veterans and their families to find information, find resources and services that are available to them both where they live and just throughout the state. We're also looking, we're working with the Department of Corrections. It's definitely in its infancy right now, but we are making ground to come up with a strategy for incarcerated veterans and reentry. We're making contact. We have our mental health analysts who are going into prisons, developing relationships in the prisons that are nearby our headquarters as a start. And we've been in contact with CDCR to get their input on how we can help them and how they can help us. And so we're coordinating in that way to come up with a strategy. It's still, like I was saying, in the developmental stage, but we're sharing information, which is great, and kind of starting from there. That's something else we're working on. Resource books, veteran resource books. The last time we printed them was 2012. We now have the new version at the printer, so we're hoping to have those and be able to distribute those in March, in another month or so. So look out for those coming out, and let me know if you have a request for us to send them to you. We're always open to trying to make sure that throughout the state we have those resources books available to you. I think that's all that I had, unless you had something more specific that you wanted me to go into, Mary Ellen.
I'm going to ask a couple of very pointed questions, if I may, please, Angela.
Sure.
Could you please share your email address, because I know that our collaboratives would love to have copies of those resource books.
Okay. I'll actually give you the person who is sending them out. I'll give you both of our email addresses. The person who is actually coordinating the shipment of those is an analyst within our Veteran Services Division. His name's David Peterson. So his email is David, D-A-V-I-D, Peterson, P-E-T-E-R-S-O-N, at calvet.ca.gov. And you can send, last time around there were 42 books in a box. So kind of gauge on that for, if you want a box or two. Just kind of send your request on how many books you're looking to receive and your contact name and address to him. And we usually ship them out within a week. But like I said, we're not going to receive them till maybe March, mid-March, so be a little bit patient for us in the next couple months, but after that, we usually ship them out within a week. And then my email address for anything else, including if you had questions about that, is Angela, ANGELA YAMAMOTO @calvet.ca.gov.
The other thing that I would love to be able to have, if you have it right on hand, of which I know that you do, I would love to have the updated links map with the contact information. Okay. And then that way what I will be able to do, and Lindsay will be able to, Bobby would have, and Linda would have, and the other links, we would be able to send that across California. I'm not able to access mine at this moment, but with the updated links and the map, that would be absolutely outstanding. If you could get that to me, to Lindsay, and to the others. The other thing that I would love to be able to take people to, because I try never to make assumptions of who knows about the Calvet website and not. The Calvet website would be www.cdva.ca.gov. So, never been there.
We updated it a year or so ago to calvet.ca.gov.
Okay, I still use the old one then.
I think the other one's still rerouted, but just...
Okay, it's calvet.ca.
Yeah, this is Lindsay. Either route will work, and I just pulled it up on our screen sharing. So you can use cdva.ca.gov or calvet.ca.gov.
So when you are here, if you have never been here before, is that as soon as you get to employment and housing, and then you've got health care and you've got education, right under there is going to be this great big blue bar, and it's going to say newsletter. And so many, for some unknown reason, we don't see that. That's going to give you the up-to-date Calvet newsletter. Also, if you look on the website, you will also have at the very top your home, your vet services, your loans, your homes, your women vets. If you want to pull the women vet information down, that has a ton of information on it also. And then one of the things that I am going to we do have, if I'm up at the search bar, is that we would be able to access the strategic plan. And let's see if we just put that in the search bar, if the strategic plan is going to come up. Does that Calvet strategic plan come up for everyone?
So I've screen shared that too. You can also go to About Us, which is in the top right corner, and then pull up the strategic plan link and then access it that way as well.
Outstanding. Thank you for telling us that. So it would be at the very top. It's going to be About Us, and then it's going to have the vision, the mission, the core values, the goals, the detailed Calvet strategic plan, which I believe is about 78 pages long.
Correct.
So it's got tremendous information in there for you. And in that strategic plan, it would probably break down what every department has been charged with. And so, Lindsay, for your strategic plan, you've got what are one or two things that you're working on this year that were your highlights?
So for my strategic plan, first of all, our mission for the Department of Veterans Affairs Women's Division is to provide information, advocacy, outreach, and support to women veterans and their families across California. We have 3 goals associated with our strategic plan. The first is to increase the points of access to information and education for women veterans across the state. And some of the initiatives associated with that are increasing the number of women on our women veterans roster, putting out, regularly producing a Women Veterans newsletter with up-to-date information about benefits, services, and activities in the state, to conduct these collaborative phone calls, to consistently put out a Women Veterans survey so that we can benchmark our outreach efforts, and then also to allow us to know more about the needs of women veterans over the years. And then we develop more community partnerships. Can you all make sure to mute your phones again, please? Because we're getting some feedback. And then the second goal with our strategic plan for Women Veterans Affairs is to improve current services and support the development of future services for women veterans. So this includes not just our phone calls, but also adopting new initiatives that better serve women and improvements throughout the state. So one example would be our military sexual assaults and victim care initiative, conducting roundtables and town hall meetings with women and community members throughout the state, and continuing our phone calls so that we have a better understanding of the picture of services, the scope of services, and the scope of need, and what's being done and what's not being done, and what needs to be improved. And then finally, our third strategy is focusing on outreach, which is increasing outreach to women veterans across California. And we do that through our activities like our leadership conference and our military reception for Women's Military History Week. We also try to utilize as much social media and work through our newsletter and emails as possible. And then the Women Veterans Outreach Toolkit will also be part of that initiative to make sure that we're better supporting organizations that want to outreach to women veterans in their communities. So those are our three goals of our strategic plan. So if anyone has any questions or wants clarification, I'll be happy to share that too.
Hi, I'm Darlene Matthews, and I'm still homeless, and it seems the advocacy part is not really happening. I mean, I got some help, but when things didn't work, it didn't follow. There was no follow through, and so I'm wondering if there can be like a more working with like the FHEO people and the Kennedy Commission down here in Orange County and other people to help us with accessibility problems and housing issues and stuff that just aren't happening. The agencies that are supposed to help are not helping when there's accessibility issues.
So, Darlene, we'll have to talk more about your situation offline, since it's specific to Orange County, but we'll be happy to do that.
But I think I'm hearing it from women vets in other places too, and I think there's like a missing link. Like it's when people will make some phone calls, but then when it doesn't work out, there needs to be a next step, and there was no next step. So I think that needs to be added. Like it's really important to get hooked up with the agencies that are going to try to defend our rights. Like the fact that the HUD-VASH people at the VA won't help me because I have a Section 8 voucher. That's not in the federal. That's what they're doing. So it's that's why I wanted to bring it up in the whole thing, because it is a issue, and I'm hearing that it's affecting more than just me.
Thank you, Darlene. I think that the underlying issue in this also would be our disabled veterans and the resources and services and benefits, ensuring that information is brought out there. We have several people that are in Orange County on the telephone call right now. You do have your Orange County Collaborative that will be meeting, I think, the first week in February. You have been, I know, in touch with Lindsay. Lindsay's been helping possible. And as Lindsay had stated, I think probably it would be best to go offline with this to ensure that not too much of this telephone call is about one particular avenue, but it has been noted that we need to ensure that disabled resources, that there's a quicker way, an easier way to access that. And I thank you for being on the phone call, Darlene, because I know this is very hard for you to get on the telephone call being homeless at this moment. So we thank you for that.
And Lindsay, this is Angela. Let me know if there's an opportunity for our links to take a larger role in making sure that they follow up and there's a handoff again if necessary, or bring.
Yeah, because the Orange County Commission isn't doing it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
we're gonna take this to. Does anyone else have a question or a comment? Please.
Mary Ellen?
Yes.
This is Irene Cruz. I have a comment about what was just said with respect to the HUD-VASH and Section 8. I had a vet that I was helping, and we were going through similar issues. And what I found out from the Director of Housing, Section 8 and the HUD-VASH vouchers, the money comes from the same pocket. So what he told me was if a veteran has a Section 8 voucher, they can go get housing on their own, because one of the issues that seems to come up is that the advocates who run the VASH voucher, they're getting paid through the VA. So they don't want to deal with the Section 8 vouchers because they don't get paid for it, which is understandable. But the vets need to know that they can go get their own housing and then get the rest of the supportive services through the VA.
Yeah, but see, here's the problem. We can't get our own housing because we're disabled and we need help and advocacy. And
I understand what you're saying, and your case is specific because because you're disabled. But for the regular vets, I was just sharing that information with the rest of the advocates that are on the call, that those vets can go get their own housing and then get the rest of their supportive services through the VA. Because what happened with the vet I was helping, the agency took his Section 8 voucher and then put him on the list for a VASH voucher, which I was told they shouldn't have done that because the money comes out of the same pocket. So
Thanks, Irene.
that's all.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you so very much. That might be a telephone call that we need to have, because Calvet does have the HEHE, Housing, Employment, Healthcare, and Education. They're extremely concerned about housing for our veterans, and thank you for bringing that up again, Darlene. Irene, thank you for your information in this also. Is there anyone else that has a comment or a question? We've got a couple of more minutes. We have no more comments or no more questions about California Department of Veterans Affairs, Women Veterans, or Veteran Services. Want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity.
Mary Ellen, I have a question with respect to, I don't know, I missed a few calls, but the fee services, if there can be a call that addresses the fee-based service and how it works, and what criteria does the agency need to go through in order to be, I don't know if there's a list of places that vets can go through the fee-based services, but if there can be a call set up to talk about those specifics, I'd appreciate it.
Irene, Lindsay, are you referring
Thank you, Lindsay.
Are you referring to healthcare, like fee-based referral services with VA healthcare?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's something that we can definitely explore. And I know we have a few representatives from the VA healthcare system, from the Women Veterans Program Managers, so I can work with them to see what we can learn more about in terms of what's available and what's not available at this time. It may be site-specific, though, so I'll see if I can get clarification for you.
Thank you.
That would be a wonderful conversation. I've had several people approach me about fee-based, how to become a fee-based provider to begin with. And trying to work that is an interesting process in itself, who you do need to contact to even put your information into the VA to become a VA fee-based provider. So I think that would be an excellent phone call to be able to have.
I have another question too about the with the homeless programs. If you are connected with the VA, which you have to be in per diem shelter, which they don't have in Orange County, but 15 female beds, you can get dental care. But because there are only 15 female beds, I can't get dental care with advanced perio disease, and there's probably other veterans that are having this. So I'm wondering if there's a way to get that help, even if there aren't available beds.
That's a great question, Darlene. Does anyone on the phone call from VA have more information about the dental care program? I know there were some updates recently to what could be provided to veterans for that coverage.
This is Eddie Ramirez. If you're a 100% disabled veteran, dental is included. The VA just recently started up a dental program, but there is an annual fee that you have to pay for that.
Right, but there's a program for homeless veterans to get dental care. But the problem is because the VA doesn't provide enough per diem shelter beds, we also get denied the associated helps. And that's problematic, you know. And I had the same thing happen when I was homeless before up in San Francisco. There wasn't any female per diem beds, and so I was denied the care. And so so I know it's not just happening to me because it happened in both ends of the state.
Okay.
You could contact me, and I could talk offline with you if you'd like. This is Eddie Ramirez. I could give you my phone number.
Okay, let me go. I'm outside Starbucks, so let me go back in.
I can put you two together. You don't have to worry about that. I will be glad to put you together.
Okay, great.
That would be
Thanks,
perfect.
Mary Ellen.
Are there any other questions that we might have? We have Angela here from Veteran Services, and that's really a huge department. This is an amazing department that's doing lots of different things. Is everyone that's on the phone call, do you all have Angela's information?
Mm-hmm. I don't
okay.
either.
Do you want me to give it again?
Yes, please. Would you please give your information, Angela? And what kind of emails would you be able to help people with? Because we don't want to have emails being sent to you that you really can't help with. What do you feel that your department would be able to be of help with then, just to reiterate, for Veteran Services?
Okay, yeah, definitely anything pertaining to our programs or our relationships we have with the county. So kind of to reiterate, we went over maybe opportunities for our links to make sure that that gap is there in between resources and veterans looking for resources. We want to try to make sure that our links know where the need is, and we're regional, so even if we get a call from a region, we can make sure that that link is well aware of the situation and can follow up if needed. And I'll be putting together a map with those new contacts. We have a brand new one in Orange County that's starting today, so I'll send that out. Maybe opportunities with our other mental health issues. We do have 2 analysts that are focused on improving mental health services. And then anything else that I was mentioning regarding what we do here, as far as maybe the DVB program, maybe if you know of someone in the area or in your area or statewide, an issue regarding disabled veteran business enterprises, we have a good relationship with DGS, and we can try to fill that gap also. My contact information is Angela, ANGELA YAMAMOTO at calvet.ca.gov. So calvet.ca.gov.
Okay.
I think
it's
to
Y-A-M.
mute,
Angela, you broke up a little bit.
Is *6. We're getting a lot of background noise. Does everyone have their phone muted?
No, I'll mute mine. I'll try to. I don't know how to do it, but I'll try to mute mine. It's probably my phone.
I think it's *6. Is that correct?
So I can reiterate my email.
Yeah, Angela, you broke up right at the very end when it was WYMAMO, and then it broke up.
Okay, so ANGELA dot YAM as in Mary, AM as in Mary, AM as in Mary, OTO. Why?
You did it. You got it. Angela.Yamamoto at calvet.
Yeah, thank you.
And if anybody needs it, let me know. I'll make sure that you get it. Thank you so very much, Angela. How does, and I want everyone to know, if you're not familiar with the Interagency Council on Veterans, if you're on your computer, it would be www.icv.ca.gov. And if you are not familiar with the Interagency Council on Veterans, we would love for you to become familiar with the Governor Brown's executive order with the California Interagency Council on Veterans. If you would be able to put that up, please, on the screen, if possible, because the CalVet and the interagency, I believe, work hand in hand. So if you could pull up the Interagency Council on Veterans, you do have the federal link, the NGOs, you've got tribes, you've got community groups, you've got clinicians, you've got the states, you've got nonprofits. This is an absolutely incredible opportunity for veterans and service providers to become more involved with what is happening with California veterans. And I know that you're working very closely, Lindsay and Angela, with the interagency, correct?
Yeah, we have a relationship and participate in some of their workshops.
This is another opportunity for those that want to get involved, knowing what is going on with veterans and veterans issues in California.
Great.
We are at 5 minutes of 11. Does anyone have any, Lindsay, I am not on the Join Me screen. Does anyone on the Join Me screen have a question or a comment?
No, we've had a few questions and comments, so I've responded to those, and we'll be sure to get out some meeting minutes and make sure to send everybody the link to the recording as well. So it might take about 24 hours for it to develop, but we can post that for sure.
Absolutely. We have never done minutes to these meetings. It's never been done. But if people feel that they would want to have minutes, that would, if CalVet staff can do that, that would be outstanding. If they can't, we can also understand. That's just adding one more thing. And what we have to recognize, and I'm always one of those people that's going to step forward, and I am going to say it because a lot of people don't know this. Calvet staff is very lean. Lindsay, I want to say for almost the first year, you were by yourself. Am I correct in this?
I had an executive assistant that I shared.
You had an executive assistant that you shared to watch over 185,000 women veterans. So please, we have to recognize as civilians and as veterans that Calvet staff does not have a humongous amount of staff there to be able to produce different things. So on March 3rd, we will be having Rebecca Blanton speak. And Lindsay, what is Rebecca's title and what will she be speaking about?
Rebecca currently serves as the Executive Director for the California Commission on the Status of Women and Girls, and she formerly was a Senior Research Policy Analyst with the California Research Bureau. So she's able to provide information about what the Commission's goals are in reference to women veterans and what the 2011 Women Veterans Survey looked like, because she was a senior researcher on that one. And then we'll also have Matthew Buttice, who's currently the senior researcher on the 2013 survey for the California Research Bureau. So they'll mainly talk about the commission goals, and they'll talk about the survey for 2013 as well.
Now, just so everyone recognizes, there was a lot of veteran input for the Women Veterans Survey. Really had a lot of input, and it was a very well-crafted instrument. So very excited to hear what Rebecca and Matthew have to share about that. And then on April 7th, April is Sexual Assault Awareness Prevention Month. Lindsay, can you share a minute on that one?
Sure. So our plan for that phone call is to host a few subject matter experts regarding sexual assaults and what's available for victims here in California, services they can access, and how we can work together to improve those services for women and men in California. So we'll focus on a speaker or a couple speakers who have subject matter expertise in that area.
Perfect. Thank you so very much. It is 11 o'clock. We really try and stay on time with this. I want to thank Lindsay, thank everyone that is part of this telephone call. Until we meet again, may you be blessed, and thank each and every one of you for being part of this phone call. If you have any questions or any comments, please feel free to email me, email Lindsay, or email Angela. You have a way to get in touch. Thank you all.
Thank you all
Thanks,
very
Mary
much.
Ellen.
For joining us.
Bye.